TV personality Julie Chrisley, best known for Chrisley Knows Best, has reacted to her recent resentencing in her fraud case. The case had previously been sent to a lower court, giving Chrisley a chance at a new sentence. Julie and her husband Todd have been the subject of fraud and tax evasion charges since 2019. The case was previously sent to a lower court. Chrisley was resentenced with the judge determining that her 84-month sentence was sufficient. She was shown to be in tears in response to the verdict, apologizing both for what she had done and to her children. Two of Chrisley's children, Savannah and Chase, were at the courtroom during the resentencing. Both Julie and her real estate tycoon husband Todd became known through the reality series Chrisley Knows Best. Airing from 2014 to 2023, the series revolved around their family in Atlanta, before moving to Nashville. Back in June, judges of the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals agreed there was a lack of evidence in the case. According to Us Weekly, court documents claimed that, after careful consideration, and with the benefit of oral argument, we affirm the district court on all issues except for the loss amount attributed to Julie. As it continued, the district court did not identify the evidence it relied on to hold Julie accountable for losses incurred before 2007, and we cannot independently find it in the record. Julie and Todd Chrisley were indicted back in 2019. Thanks to the ruling, the case was sent to a lower court. As the documents continued, so we vacate Julie's sentence and remand solely for the district court to make the factual findings and calculations necessary to determine loss, restitution and forfeiture as to Julie and to re-sentence her accordingly. According to Us Weekly, Chrisley's legal team claimed that the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals reversed Ms. Chrisley's sentencing and remanded the case for her to be re-sentenced. Noting it was not a dismissal of the case, it was hoped the decision will result in a new sentence conforming with the appeals court's instructions. Back in 2019, Julie and Todd Chrisley had been indicted on charges including tax evasion and fraud. After being found guilty in 2022, Julie was initially sentenced to 7 years in prison, which was later reduced by 14 months. Todd received a sentence of 12 years, which was later reduced to 10. Since 2023, Julie has served her time at Federal Medical Center in Kentucky. Todd meanwhile has served his time at Federal Prison Camp Pensacola in Florida. What did you think of the recent resentencing? Let us know your thoughts and come back to Reports for USA for all the latest TV and celebrity news. Julie Chrisley, once the matriarch of one of reality TV's most beloved families, now faces a reality she never anticipated, a new prison sentence that extends her time behind bars. The news sent shockwaves not only through her family but also across the fanbase that had followed the Chrisleys' lavish lifestyle and dramatic family dynamics on Chrisley Knows Best. But behind the public facade, Julie's reaction was a mix of disbelief, devastation, and an unwavering resolve to keep her family together, no matter the cost. The unexpected verdict. When the court ruled to extend Julie's sentence following a re-evaluation of the charges related to tax evasion and financial fraud, the room fell into an eerie silence. Julie had been hoping for leniency, given her role as a mother and her relatively clean history before the scandal. Instead, she received the opposite. Her extended sentence felt like a crushing blow not only to her but also to her family, especially her husband, Todd Chrisley. A mother's pain. Back in her prison cell, Julie's thoughts drifted to Savannah, her eldest daughter, who had been vocal in the media about her parents' innocence. Julie knew Savannah would be devastated. The two had always shared a close bond, and Savannah had stepped up in ways no one expected when her parents were first sentenced. Now, with Julie's sentence extended, Savannah would likely take on even more responsibilities. Julie felt a pang of guilt. She had always prided herself on being a hands-on mother, but now, her children were forced to navigate adulthood without her guidance. Savannah, who was already raising Chloe and looking after Grayson, would have an even bigger burden on her shoulders. Chase, while supportive, had always been the wild card of the family, and Julie worried about how he would handle the news. The hardest part, though, was knowing she wouldn't be there for her youngest son, Grayson. He was still coming into his own, and Julie had wanted to be by his side as he navigated his teenage years. The thought of missing his milestones, his graduation, his first job, his first heartbreak, was almost unbearable. As she lay on the hard prison cot, staring up at the ceiling, Julie allowed herself to cry. It was the first time since the sentencing that she had let her emotions fully take over. In those moments, she wasn't the strong, resilient Julie Chrisley the world knew. She was simply a mother, a wife, and a woman facing the harsh reality of being away from her family for much longer than she ever imagined. A message to the public. Within days of the sentence extension, Savannah released a statement on behalf of her mother. "This isn't the outcome we hoped for, but my mom is the strongest person I know. She will continue to fight, not just for herself but for all of us. We stand by her and believe in her innocence, no matter what the courts say." Julie, aware of the public's need for answers, crafted her own message from behind bars. In a letter written with careful consideration, she addressed both her fans and the media. "I never imagined my life would take this turn, but here I am, facing another obstacle I must overcome. I want to thank everyone for their continued support. Your prayers, your letters, your unwavering belief in my family mean the world to us. I won't sugarcoat it, this is the hardest thing I've ever faced. But my faith in God and my love for my family remain my strength. I will endure this, not because I have to, but because I know I must. My children need me, and I need them." The letter was met with an outpouring of support, but also skepticism from some corners of the public, who felt the Chrisleys had long lived above the law. Julie, however, remained focused. Public perception was the least of her concerns now. The future of the Chrisley family. In the weeks following the sentence, the Chrisley family began adjusting to their new reality. Savannah, ever the protective daughter, continued to defend her parents on social media, but the toll of the extended sentences was beginning to show. Chase, who had been pursuing his own ventures outside of the family's reality TV fame, became more withdrawn. Grayson, who had always stayed out of the limelight as much as possible, struggled to process the gravity of his parents' absence. Julie, in her prison cell, held on to the hope that one day, her family would be reunited. She had faith that the legal system would eventually see the truth, even if that day seemed farther away now. Each letter from her children, every photo, every update on their lives outside, kept her going. Her days were spent in prayer and reflection,